So, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. We're really happy and glad for us to join on this 194th episode of season 8 on DX Talks. And today we have a really special guest, Alex Chehade, Executive Director and General Manager of Binance in Dubai. But before we get him on our platform, just want to remind everyone that we're running our second woman, Mina, top 25 woman. She innovates in fintech, blockchain, and AI. Would like you to join, spread the word. If you know any lady that is really on the forefront of blockchain, fintech, and AI, do nominate her, dxtalks.com. Or if you are to sponsor, more than ready to join our initiative. So with that, without further ado, let me take Alex. Alex, welcome to DX Talks.
Thank you, Rudy. Thank you for having me, and thank you for welcoming me on your show.
Well, I'm really excited, having you on DX Talks because we're really keen on understanding the latest innovation, what's happening in the region and the world of blockchain and crypto. I want you first to introduce yourself so that we can even more start our episode.
I've career in trading platforms and trading in exchanges, moving into cryptocurrencies around 2016, where blockchain became my passion. I really enjoyed learning about this new technology and what it could do for us. We've seen fantastic innovations, and I've helped establish a number of regulated exchanges in the region. And so my role at Binance Dubai, Binance FZE, I sort of oversee all the localized operations, and it's a completely separate entity that's regulated by the VARA, which is the Virtual Asset Regulatory Authority here in Dubai, which was established last year.
Great. I think you have quite of a role that affected the region. And with that, can you share overview of Binance presence and operation in the Middle East, particularly in Dubai, because this is where your primary operation and key milestones achieved in the region so far? I know there's a lot. Just give me, I think, some of the highlights because it's quite of a journey.
Yeah, so CZ came to the region 2 years ago now. He obviously spoke with senior leadership here and liked the message that he got. So he established a footprint. We began talking to the World Trade Center, and then when VARA was established, we were sort of one of the key industry players to help build the ecosystem. So we got the MVP proprietary license, and now we've just moved into operational license. So we're operational for large firms and high net worth clients. And later on, when FMP regulations come out, which we worked closely with VARA to establish, we'll be allowed to onboard retail clients. We really worked with the regulators to create virtual asset specific regulations, along with other key industry players. We thought it was really important to establish a separate regulator that doesn't have some of the sort of legacy rules, and also they can concentrate on virtual assets. The regulator need to spend a lot of time understanding these new products because they are innovative and they are different from traditional finance. We take ideas from traditional finance and we map them onto new regulations. But the same core functions there, we're looking for user protection and the regulators are looking for consumer protection, the same. And so we're working towards that goal.
Indeed, but I think everybody is learning at this point of time, even us, even though we're creating innovation, but it's still an early journey. And this is where Binance has been involved in such a various initiative related to blockchain innovation. Can you elaborate more on the current status of the innovation center that you just mentioned in Dubai and its objective for fostering technological innovation?
Okay, so there's two prongs to this. Firstly, we educate and train. So we do education with DAOs, we do education with banks, other FIs to explain how blockchain works, how virtual assets are For incubation as well, we invest heavily. We have Binance Labs, which recently invested in 5 different projects in an incubation series, focused mainly on Web3. So we've talked about the innovation. So Web3 is the next step of using addresses and cryptocurrencies in web browsing. So, I think lots of people are familiar with Web 1, Web 2. And maybe if people are not so familiar, just an easy way to think about it. Web 1 is like a newspaper. You read, there's static pages, there's little interaction. Web 2 is where you start interacting with websites. So your inputs go into the website, your website reads cookies to see what you like, and it creates a more personalized experience. Web 3 utilizes identity, so to speak, but your address is how you interact with these applications, whether they're websites or other sorts of similar applications. And you control what has access to your addresses. You sign transactions. The power is with you as a user. So, we're investing in that, and that's where we see the innovation. We see the use cases for crypto really into their own with these Web3 technologies. And we're happy to help them. These are the 2 streams, through education and investment.
Great. You mentioned a lot about VARA and regulation. Regulatory compliance is kind of a crucial thing now in the crypto industry, especially in UAE and Dubai. And how does Binance ensure compliance with local laws, regulation in the Middle East? And what steps have been taken to work closely with those regulators?
Worked with the VARA from day one. So as they established the MVP, most minimum viable product set of rules to establish the regulatory body, and then, as you mentioned, this helps everyone learn. So it kind of acted like a sort of restricted sandbox where the regulators understand the best way of regulating the entities, because much of the entities that joined existing businesses that are looking to set up in Dubai and become established within that body. And so we worked with them, going through all our workflows, really demonstrating to the regulator how the processes work. It's very important in regulatory processes. You have to be very transparent. You have to make sure that the regulator understand how the products work. They look at the risks, you look at the risks together, and you mitigate the risks in order to protect consumers. So we've done that, and thankfully now we're through that. So now we get to the point of supervision. So once you're authorized, then there's lots of reporting that goes forward, making sure that they understand that you're operating in the manner that you described in that process. And we've worked with other regulators in the region as well. We have a couple of licenses in ADGM, Abu Dhabi Global Market, and we are regulated by the CBB in Bahrain. And we have an exchange there that trades in spot and futures, which is a first for the region.
Very interesting. And I think you've done a lot of work on transparency, which is often a concern in the crypto space. Can you shed light on those transparency measures that has been built so you can create trust among users, among the community itself in the Middle East, taking, for example, the proof of reserves and others?
Yes. So as I said, again, we're working in two channels. One with the regulator, which we've gone through now. And now you're talking about sort of public transparency, right? So we're talking about public wallets, proof of reserves, acting as a regulated entity. So you want to be very clear with the fees that are getting charged. Again, a long time ago in the cryptocurrency industry, it was a little bit more opaque. But as we're regulated now, all our fee schedules are public. All the fees are broken down into banking charges or card processing fees. So it's very clear. So that sort of transparency is important to build trust. The messaging and going out. So, doing outreaches like this, holding educational seminars, explaining how to use our products and services. But Binance Academy is a fantastic tool to learn about not just how Binance operates, but how blockchain works. We're big on trying to go out to people to educate. That's our mission, is to educate people into how cryptocurrencies can benefit them, and democratize finance.
Yeah, indeed. And then I see a lot of action, and now especially there's some more support on the Arabic side, so I'm very happy on that. Binance has been pioneer in various aspects of cryptocurrency industry. What role do you see Binance playing role as a pioneer in promoting blockchain technologies? You mentioned, I think, the academy in here, or other crypto adoptions in the region.
So, as you said, right, we're making a big push to localize the product. So, not just having locally regulated exchanges with fiat on-off ramps, so like local banking to reduce cost, but we're also really building up our Arabic language support, both on the websites for people to read, messaging. So some of the news now comes out more in Arabic, and customer service and support. Having lots of Arabic speakers is obviously helpful. And we understand that the different dialects across the Arabic world sometimes change or are different per region, but we have that support, and we're building those teams to really serve the Arabic community. And we are looking in Dubai to really empower the industry. We want the ecosystem to grow, and we realize that as the leader, we need to take those first steps. So we're bringing people in, bringing other industry players in, to have a healthy ecosystem. You can't just have big players as well. So we look to help smaller players come in. So we work closely, inviting some of the smaller software houses or token projects to work with us here in the region and build. The region is great for cryptocurrency and virtual assets. The demographic is the right type of people. Everyone's quite young and technology focused, so that helps really adoption. And so we just feel like there's a lot of blue sky in the region. So we're concentrating here and trying to grow the environment. It's you see this in lots of things, and the network effect, right? It starts snowballing. More and more players come. Everyone upskills themselves, and so we really see that there's a ton of benefit to being in here in the region.
Indeed. I spoke with some other CEOs about the community. They mentioned about partnerships, and every time the word partnerships comes in. So what are the strategic partnerships that you have done with financial institutions, maybe government entities or other stakeholders, so that we can drive this innovation more and more, so that we get more people involved, not just on the education side, on other aspects also?
Mm-hmm. Public and private partnerships are really what are going to drive the industry here and drive adoption. So we've done three outreach academy sessions with RACDAO, so the new free zone that's focused for digital assets in Ras Al Khaimah. We have obviously, as I said, partnered with Dubai World Trade Center and VARA. And we recently signed an MOU with UBF, United Banking Federation. So I think 50 or 60 of the UAE banks, acquirers and exchange houses are all part of this. And when we partner with them, they obviously all want to understand about crypto, but they don't have any of that product knowledge. So the UBF reached out to us, and we partnered with them. And it's a great platform for us to sort of exchange our ideas and talk about the products, have each of these FIs come talk to us about what their concerns are, maybe what their interests are, how they see it strategically. Because prior to that, we had to go to each bank individually, and go through the different layers, explaining to the risk people, explaining to the compliance people, explaining to the business people. But this federation allows us to reach many people quickly. Yeah, exactly. And they have the connections. They do outreach for other things other than crypto. So it's a perfect partnership. But as you mentioned, these sorts of partnerships are paramount to really driving adoption. It just puts it out there a little bit more, makes it more accessible.
It's really interesting to see how now banking are onboarding or trying to onboard themselves onto this wave, which is very, very interesting. I'll jump into the cybersecurity aspect, which I think is very important into our talk. And especially it's a paramount thing in the cryptocurrency space, knowing that how money is moving very fast. What security measures does Binance employ to protect its user assets and data, especially in our region?
Binance has probably some of the most sophisticated security procedures and technology in the world. We have over 150 million users, and we are, objectively a big target. So we are a target to lots of probing attacks, lots of attempts of social engineering. And as I said, the human factor is the main target. Trying to brute force passwords doesn't really work unless you find like a gap, but there are none. I mean, we are audited often, and so we're very confident that we are looking after our users in the right manner. Now, going back to social engineering, this is the key. Internally, Binance has a lot of training on safety, on what to do. All of the devices we use are segregated and hardened, and you're not allowed to do anything on the. It's the same as working in a big bank. You open spreadsheets, open browsers, and then that's the end of the scope for use. Yeah, but you can't expect private individuals to have machines like this, right? So it's really about making sure they're aware of the risks and where you would interact with not so safe environments, right? And so what Binance, the exchange, and Binance the ecosystem does is we're a little bit more of a safe harbor, but because we're a centralized exchange, lots of the sophistication is taken away from the user. So they can store their assets, they can move assets easier. When you're dealing with your own private keys, you need to have a level of sophistication to do it. Otherwise, it becomes risky because you're not as secure as an audited financial services company. So it's really just making sure people are interacting in a safe manner and understand what they're doing. And as always, you got to keep your passwords safe. And you keep telling everyone to change their passwords. It's a real thing, right? It's critical. Banks as well. You're seeing SMS attacks. So it's there everywhere. I think people are becoming more cognizant that this is what happens with electronic financial services. And so, I think just education again.
Very, very interesting. The region is really on the forefront of those technologies, and cryptocurrency gain more mainstream attention. What trends do you foresee in our region now, knowing that our region is really active in this space? And how does Binance plan to adapt to those evolving trends?
So one of the key tenets of Binance is to be user focused. It comes from the top down. CZ is a stickler for this. So what we like to do is really look at what the users want. I think he's also said this before. We don't often lead, but we're very good at following and seeing what the trends are and making sure that we satisfy client needs. Holistically, in the region, we're seeing more use cases for blockchain. People are still trying to experiment with like tokenized real estate or tokenized physical assets. Some of the financial services companies here are looking at sort of doing settlement on the blockchain. Even the Central Bank of the UAE are looking to do CBDCs. So, that's collateralized settlement on the blockchain. And I think they're using R3 and a couple of consultants to sort of walk through what that looks like. Everyone sees the potential here. So in the region, everyone's excited. It's a developing economy. So I think everyone's quite happy to look at this tool. And again, the sort of senior leadership here in the UAE especially are looking to develop these new economies. Yeah, there's lots of new initiatives, especially in Dubai as well, in D33. And they understand they want to create separate economies, knowledge-based economies away from hydrocarbons. So, the desire is there. And also, Dubai, UAE has really done a good job selling itself outside of COVID. It's a fantastic place to live. The infrastructure's here, it's scaling well. 5G everywhere. Offices are plenty. There's none of the sort of legacy issues of some of the older financial services jurisdictions.
True. I think we are blessed to have the forefront technologies and infrastructure. Will we be having a pizza day next year in Dubai?
Yes.
I don't know if I ruined the surprise, but I would love to have one.
Yeah. We were busy this year, but we did it in Bahrain, and the GM of the Bahrain exchange he enjoyed it. I saw many pictures of him dishing out pizzas. So
it's very interesting. I think it became kind of a symbol how was pizza and Bitcoin were aligned, and look where today we are, and where Bitcoin is, and the whole crypto scene. So looking ahead on Binance long-term goals and vision for its presence in Dubai and the broader Middle East, how do you plan to contribute to the growth and development of blockchain and crypto ecosystem here?
Yeah, so I mean, fostering the ecosystem, right? We have to lead by example. I think that's what we've done here. We were one of the first to go with Vara. And now we're the first exchange to have the operational license. We want to be the first to get the FMP license, and we really want to lead into secure, compliant exchanges where we're very transparent, we're very welcoming, we're happy to educate people, to bring crypto to the region. With this mindset, people are not going to be afraid. So we want to bring up the region, and by doing this, many other smaller innovators will come to this ecosystem and learn and build amazing things. But we're the ecosystem enabler. That's what we do. Like the core of Binance platform is the exchange. We have other products and services around that, but the core is the exchange, and so we're the ecosystem enabler here. Other entities can come, grow in our ecosystem, whether we help educate, whether we help fund them, or whether they just come and interact with other systems, right? It's like the sea, you have big fish and small fish, and they all live together in a sort of harmony. That's what we want to do. And the local government here are fabulous in that they have said what they want. They're going forward with developing Web3 with Metaverse, and it allows us to sort of plan for the future, understanding that the decision's not going to change in a few months. We've got a long-term view, D33, so that's 10 years time. We'll be happy with being a leader again then.
Very, very interesting. My last question before I finish this interview is if you can help me understand the anti-money laundering status today and how Binance is really contributing to this. I know there's a lot of work has been done in this, but I didn't want to finish and then not mention anti-money laundering because that is a hot topic.
So it's an extremely important topic for the UAE. You know, everyone's looking at FATF. Everyone's looking to make sure that we're as FATF compliant. They have their guidelines. They have the red flags, and we look. Well, we take into account all of these measures and more. The beauty of the blockchain, opposed to traditional finance, is it's transparent. For the most
That's
part,
something
like
you don't see ever on any financial institutions other than the blockchain.
exactly. And so, you know, we don't carry for Binance FCD, we don't carry any privacy tokens. So, you know, we put that aside. And so for the FATF rules, we watch out for all these red flags, both for fiat currencies, a card deposit, bank withdrawal, and then for cryptocurrencies, we look forensically at the transactions, right? And so, you know, we're lucky enough to be the biggest ecosystem player here, so we get to see the most data. So we have great visibility on what's going on, and our partnerships with law enforcement are the highest. We get requests a lot from Dubai police, Abu Dhabi police, Sharjah police, where the law enforcement will have a request for a particular in case, and we'll work with them. And we work globally as well. We have a giant investigations team that span the world, ex-Interpol staff, some of the guys that shut down some of the big dark websites. And, you know, we pride ourselves on these guys. These guys go around educating as well. They've been to the CBOE, they've been to some of the banks here, and they explain what we're seeing. So the banks and the other FIs get to see what we're seeing. So, you know, the transparency of blockchain really helps that. You know, everyone sort of imagines it to be less transparent because, you know, the peer-to-peer nature, you're not going through intermediaries. But once you map out the system, you have a much better view, and it's really it opens your eyes to everything. You can see all the transactions, numbers of hops, and then with sort of AI, you layer that over the top to sort of have a look at behaviors, and you know much more. So, you know, we're really working closely together with our regulator as well. It's very keen for all the regulated entities to be very FATF compliant. And you know, that's where we are, and we're looking to help.
Yeah, thank you. Alex, what is your last recommendation or word, and how can people connect to you or follow you on social media?
Okay, so educate yourself. Yeah, you have to read. I mean, Binance Academy, it's great for novices, and it's great for, you know, advanced people. I read it all the time. Take the time to have a look, and engage with like our social channels. So we're active on Telegram, LinkedIn, Twitter. Obviously, that's the sort of key correspondence for cryptocurrencies. But all of these handles are actively managed, and if you ask Binance a question there, you'll get answers. But that's what it's about. It's understanding it. Don't shy away from it. Just look into it.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex. I just shared down here, and I'll share it back in the description, academy.binance.com/en, or I think there's now Arabic language or other languages. Make sure, we always have to make sure to follow the right links and verify the links, because today we're very lost in identity, what links, what other things. This is the official links, Binance.com. It's not Binance with an S, and it's not Binance with something else. It's Binance.com. So make sure to always check. And this is something that we always open our talk show, is the fraud section, because we are receiving the amount of frauds, none others. It's really hard. Anyway, thank you, Alex. Thank you for being with us today. We really enjoyed this, and hope our viewers also enjoy it. You can watch the recording on this episode on our YouTube and other channels on LinkedIn, or browse other episodes. Until next time, thank you again, and cheers.